Now this was quite the big boy. That's right, I've been playing Octopath Traveler 0, and in today's video I'm going to be going over all of my thoughts and opinions, so I'm hoping you can join me today for this one. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well, welcome back to the channel. Got you covered with timestamps, so if you want to skip to a certain section, feel free to do so. All I ask is you to support the channel and hit the like button, it helps out considerably, and if you want to stick around for some more Octopath Traveler content, you are already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. Before we dive in, huge shout out to Square Enix for providing me with Octopath Traveler 0 so I can get my thoughts, my opinions, and the gameplay you're seeing right now for today's video. Though none of this influences my opinions whatsoever, they are my opinions and my opinions alone. So I was thinking, where do I begin with this video on Octopath Traveler 0? And I think I wanted to address 2 points straight off the bat before we dive into the actual game. And that is the length of the game and if this is the right Octopath Traveler game for you to dive into if you've never dove into the series. So let's talk about that first. I think it really does not matter if you've played any Octopath Traveler games before this one. This is a great one to dive into for your first time. It's a little bit different to the two mainline titles, but I don't think you're missing anything if you don't go play the first and second game, though I do advise that you go try them out, especially the second one because it's great, but it does not really matter. Don't be afraid of missing anything if you're diving into this for the first time. The only thing that you might miss here or there is little references that people that have played the previous games will be like, hey, I know what that's referring to, and that is about it. Now for the length of the game. It has been touted out that it is a over 100-hour game, and after playing it, it indeed is. I need to tell you that I've not rolled credits yet. I've put in over 80 hours and there's reasons why it's taken me so long, which we'll get into in the video, but this is a big game and I tackled this a little bit more differently. I usually just dive in and get the game done and do everything it has to offer, but I really think that the best way to play Octopath Traveler 0 is to do it in short bursts. Have a couple of sessions here or there, go play another game, come back to it, because the way that the game's laid out, I think it's ideal for that playstyle, and that way you're not getting sick of the game because you are going to be needing to put in around 100 hours to complete this game. So we've got that out of the way, so now let's talk about the game, and I want to briefly talk about story and characters. I want to tell you right now that I think this is the best Octopath Traveler story I have ever experienced. Octopath Traveler 0 is a little bit different in its presentation, especially when it comes to its characters. I don't want to dive any more into the story because I really think it's well worth you just diving into and experiencing it for yourself. But for the characters, we have over 30 characters that we can recruit, which means we are not going to be getting the same experience of a character arc that we do with the original Octopath Traveler games, because you have the 8 characters, you meet them, you develop the character stories chapter through chapter, and they have little to some interaction in the games with one another leading up to its final chapters. In Octopath Traveler 0, there are a handful of characters that are woven into the story, and you'll be getting that same kind of experience with some of those characters that you got in the original Octopath Traveler games. But there are some characters that you meet along the way that don't really weave into the story too much, and they are just optional characters you can grab along the way. The way that these are presented is you essentially have a quest that you do that revolves around them, a little bit of an introduction story, but after that, the way you explore that character a little bit more is through the town system and through the party chat system. You don't really get very much voice dialogue from these characters, but I really don't think that takes away from the game whatsoever, because the story in itself and the way it's presented through its wealth, power and fame chapters. That's everything I really want to talk about when it comes to story and characters, even though that is the crux of what makes this game so good. I think a definite contributing factor to Octopath Traveler 0 is its gameplay, and I want to start off with exploration. So I'm going to break this down into different parts. We're just going to talk about general exploration. It's what you would expect from an Octopath Traveler game. There are various routes joining all of the main cities for chests to find, sparklies to find, which relate to your town building. There are, of course, the characters you can find where you progress through the story. More of those unlock. There are side quests for you to do and everything else in between, including some really engaging side game stuff as well. It even branches out to traveling the seas, though it's not as expansive as it felt in Octopath Traveler 2. It's nice to have this option with more optional areas to find. I have no complaints when it comes to exploration. Next, I want to talk about a big feature of Octopath Traveler, and that is the path actions. This works very differently because we do have our own character here, of which we've created and really made our own, but we essentially have access to all of the path actions you're used to in Octopath Traveler games, and your success rate is related to how far you have progressed in the story and your fame, power, and wealth ranks. So your percentage changes. So if you want to do battle with someone to get a rare item, it really depends what level you are and what level your wealth, fame, and power are. You essentially can talk to pretty much every single NPC. Some of them you can invite back to the town of Wishvale, which we'll go into in a little bit more detail in a second. But everything is there, but it's a lot more streamlined, easy to do, and sometimes can feel quite overwhelming because there's a lot of characters to talk to and a lot of characters that could be carrying items, a lot of characters that are carrying those battle-tested items as well. There's a lot to dive into here, and of course it's optional, but it's very well advised because not only will you be adding to your village, but you'll be getting items that will definitely benefit you in battle. They'll be unlocking secret spots in the towns for you to find. It's definitely a system well worth diving into. The last part I want to dive into when it comes to its exploration and its gameplay is the town of Wishvale. This is the reason why I've put in over 80 hours and I still haven't rolled the final credits, because of the town building. This is so expansive. It's tied to a story. Sometimes you are gated out of progressing until you actually do the main story, which I found a little bit annoying because I thought I could do the restoration story separate from the main story of the wealth, power, and fame. But there are certain points where you do need to do that part of the story to progress your story with Wishvale. I really enjoyed the story of the restoration of Wishvale. It's the one part of the story that I've actually completed and very much enjoying the end game of the building of Wishvale. You get to place houses, you get to put people in those houses that can give you materials to then build more items. Once you unlock the shop, you then unlock trade routes to get more items, more recipes to build more things in your town and really make Wishvale your own. As you can see in the footage here, I've just put in so much time into this part of the game, and I continue to want to do it. Every time I go onto the game, instead of doing the main story, I'm like, no, there's some things I've got to do here in town. I've unlocked a cow and I'm going to add it to my farm, or I've just unlocked the monster arena, so I'm trying to hunt down monsters. Heck, the museum, as someone that loves collectibles, the fact that we can have sheet music that we collect along the way, and we can display some rare items, and we can also have archives of all the kind of notes that we come across in the game as well. It's pretty phenomenal in how lost you can get in this mode. If you are a sucker for a town builder, I think you're going to be spending a lot of time like I have in this one. All in all, the gameplay here in Octopath Traveler 0 is just top tier. Some people might say there's too much here, and I guess that could be true for an over 100-hour game. Take my advice, take it at a pace, enjoy it, tackle one bit one day, tackle something else the other day. Maybe you want to do a bit of exploration, recruit some characters, or just do some grinding. Just really take it at a good pace, and I think you can really enjoy everything Octopath Traveler 0 has to offer. Next up, we have the combat, and the combat is very much Octopath Traveler, but taken to a new level because we now have 8 characters to mess around with. Obviously, it takes you a while to get to those 8 characters, but once you start unlocking more characters and more characters and more characters, there's more decisions to make. I usually go for 2 team setups, one for when I'm grinding, that I know I can burn down enemies pretty fast, so everyone's pretty much got the same weapon, and I go for powerful attacks. But when it comes to doing story-related related stuff and doing the bosses. I have a bit more of a even out playing field with people, making sure that I have all weapon types, all spell types, so I can hit those weaknesses in the break and boost system as fast as I can. Now, combat did feel pretty easy for the longest time, especially for the first half or the first 3 kind of quarters of the game. But of course, during that, bosses were stepped up a little bit. They didn't really have too many mechanics to begin off with, but as time has gone on and I've got deeper into the story, the bosses are starting to be a bit more strategic. They're using their adds a little bit more. They are having those typical shield moments where they boost their shields. You need to break them down before the powerful attacks. They manage to hide some of their weaknesses. They swap weaknesses with their allies. All of these things you take into consideration, and you do need to be adaptable, but having the front row and the back row and all of the abilities that come alongside with it is great. Of course, we have the ultimate abilities as well, which really brings another layer to combat. These are pretty damn OP, and they definitely have got me through a lot of battles, whether that's healing my party and giving some great defense boosts, or just going all out attack and trying to get the numbers as high as we can. There's also the opportunity to change the job of your main character. There are many jobs to pick from, and you start to unlock those a little bit more as you progress through the story. It's well worth investing, so you can be more adaptable on the fly and really analyze what the next hard boss might be bringing to the table and trying to cater to that with your main character. I've absolutely loved it, and that's what you want from a battle system, and Octopath Traveler 0 does it so well. Not much else I really want to talk about, because I think it's a game that you just need to dive into, take it at a good pace and enjoy it. And to accompany that, you want a great soundtrack, and Octopath Traveler 0 absolutely delivers. Yes, we have tracks from Octopath Traveler 1. Yes, we have a couple of tracks from Octopath Travelers 2, and tracks from Champions of the Continent are here as well. It's just a great soundtrack. The fact that I've unlocked a lot of songs for my village, and I go into my village and it's playing the boss battle theme, can be pretty epic. Though it does make sense to have a village theme playing, the soundtrack is pretty phenomenal, and I really do not have any complaints with the music. So my final thoughts on Octopath Traveler 2, I'll just kind of combine everything that I've said in this video. It doesn't matter if it's your first Octopath Traveler game. I really think you should approach this game at a pace, because it is a big game. You do not want to burn yourself out. It's exactly what I've done, and I think my enjoyment level has just gone through the roof because I've approached it that way. I do think that this has taken the #1 spot as the best Octopath Traveler game in the series. They've knocked this out of the park, and I really can't wait to see people dive in, seeing team compositions and everything else in between. Let me know down below if you're going to be picking up Octopath Traveler 0. I appreciate your time, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.